Hi there, I'm Jackie. Thanks for joining me today. So this video is a continuation of my last video in which I showed you how I created this section of this sea glass mosaic, and today I'm continuing on with this. If you wanted to see that video, click on the link up above in case you missed it, and you can see how I did this section of the bridge so far. And I also talked about 6 lessons that I've learned in creating sea glass mosaics that I hope are really helpful for you. So today in this video, what I'm going to show you, I'm doing this sea glass mosaic for my brother-in-law who gave me all of these beach treasures. There's a combination of rocks and sea pottery and sea glass of all different colors that he thought I would like to use in this sea glass mosaic. Because one of the lessons I talked about is that it's really important if you're doing a mosaic for somebody else, if they have some of their own treasures included in the mosaic, it just adds some more meaning it adds more meaning to them for that sea glass mosaic. So today I'm going to show you how you can take some beach treasures that are fairly special and incorporate them into a sea glass mosaic in a way that makes them stand out and showcases some of those really special pieces. And also how you can try to figure out, okay, this is kind of a neat piece of sea glass, how do I use it? So join me for this video. So my challenge is to use as much material on this board as I can in this sea glass mosaic. So the first thing I'm going to do is sort it into colors and objects that mean something so that I can kind of wrap my head around how do I incorporate this in a way that's kind of artistic and is going to showcase some of these really special sea glass pieces. So as I'm sorting here, a few things jump out to me fairly quickly. The challenge here in looking at your sea treasures is, what do you see? What is it telling you that it might represent in a sea glass mosaic? So some things are fairly straightforward, like this piece of pottery with black on one side of it, to me looks like the sail of a ship. So that's probably going to go out in the water as a sail. And this piece with the grooves in it is triangular shaped, very much like a sail. So again, that one I think is going to very easily make a nice sail. This piece here I'm really kind of struggling a bit with. It's a very large piece of pottery. I don't usually use really large pieces in my sea glass mosaics, but I'm trying to think if maybe it could act as a bit of a bench down on the base, but I'm not sure. I'm thinking that that one may end up not getting included, but I'm going to set it down there for now just to see if it might work its way in. There's one gray piece here, and gray is fairly rare, so I know I want to use that. So I'm thinking that's going to go down at the base of the mosaic as well. And there's another little gray piece, so I'm just going to set that with that gray piece because gray is pretty special, pretty rare. I have these 3 rocks with quartz on them. And those, I think, are going to go down at the base as a bit of a rock base. This one, where's the third one here? Here it is. This one is really cool. It's got layers of rock and quartz. So I think that will be very cool. And they just would sit on the bottom part of the frame of the window. Now these pieces here, I know I have to incorporate these in because these were found by my brother-in-law and sister when they were on a trip over in Europe. And I forget which beach they came from, but they know because they collected them and brought them back. And they're all pieces of pottery with like a layer of enamel or paint on one side of them. So it would come from some sort of tiling that would have been used in the construction material. Here's an amazing, I don't know if you probably can't tell on the video, but this is an amazing thick brown that's very well finished, very pitted. That's been in the water a long time. If you hold it up to the light, you can see the brown color, but it looks fairly dark without the light. So that, I think, will sit on the bottom of the windowsill as well. And these three pieces, I found three that were in that collection. Two of them are mauve and one of them is white, and they have ridges along the edge. So they came from some sort of decorative glass. So those ones are very cool. So I'll put those down there. I'm going to try to figure out a way to position those so that they will show the decorative glass sticking out. Haven't figured that out yet. So those are going on there for now. And the rest I think I'm just going to try to incorporate in as I go. I have a few pieces of milk glass here, green milk glass, some pottery pieces with some pattern on them, and of course those three yellow pieces and one red piece. Those are all going to find a place that I'm probably going to work it out as I go here where they fit. So I've been playing around with these special treasures for quite a while, and I've decided I am going to leave those three rocks right at the base down in the corner here. Putting things at the base of a piece kind of gives it some weight at the bottom, which I like to do. And I played around with these pottery pieces. These are really cool. And I have quite a few of them, and I always put an inukshuk in my piece. So I decided I would make this kind of fanciful inukshuk. It really quite stands out. And then I'm using these three little pieces to make like a mini inukshuk. So you've got, say, a parent and a child, and then a tiny little one here, which to me might represent a pet or something important. It's just very fanciful. And these three triangular pieces that spoke to me of sails, I'm going to put over here as a little cluster of sailboats. The bigger ones represent closer to the shore, smaller, put them out further. And I think they make three kind of cool sailboats. And this is a really neat piece of kick-up that would make a nice base for the sailboat. And here's a nice green one that I thought would be good. And then this was in the pile, which is an aqua piece, and it was a good shape for the base of a sail. And then there was another little blue triangle that I thought also looked somewhat like a sail. So because it's kind of small, I put it way out in the water. So it means it's really quite far away, out close to the base of the bridge. And I took 6 of the blue pieces and used them to create 3 birds in the sky. So I've got the larger bird, the medium size, and the smaller one. And it sort of helps give some distance. This one's closer, further away, further away. And once this area of the sky is all filled in with white, because I plan to do my sky in white, those birds are really going to stand out. So then I was debating what to do with this amazing yellow piece of sea glass. And I decided that it would make kind of a cool flower, very fanciful flower, but that's kind of the theme of this piece. It's somewhat fanciful. I'm going to put that down on the base, and then I use these 2 pieces of pottery with blue on them for leaves of the flower. And there were these 2 kick-ups, white kick-ups. One of them's not well finished, the other one quite well finished, but I thought I might glue those directly onto the base of the window and put them on either side of the flower. And then I'll probably put, sometimes when I have kick-ups, I like to put something in the kick-up, especially this one that's not well finished. So I'm probably going to glue a few little pieces onto the kick-up, something there. I might go through some of my own treasures and find something of my own to put there too. I'm still working with my brother-in-law's treasures right now. And another thing with gluing pieces to the base, this brown piece that I had showed you, I'm going to glue that directly onto the base of the window, and then there's not going to be any silicone on the back of it. It's not going to take away any of the frostiness. Because even with the silicone on the back of a piece of sea glass, it takes away a bit of the frostiness. So there's an example of where gluing on the base of your window frame can really benefit to show off your pieces of sea glass. And I have a shell here as well that I'm going to glue onto the base, just to add some interest to the bottom of my sea glass mosaic. So in the very middle of the base of this window is this old hardware bit. This is attached to the windowsill, and that is very cool. So I quite like that. So on the other side of that, I'm going to take this gray piece of sea glass and glue it directly to the base of the window as well. And also what I did with these, I had those 3 pieces of glass that have like a decorative lip on them. And I really wanted to show that off, so I piled them on top of one another. I glued the 3 of them together and then glued another piece of white sea glass underneath so that it will sit really. I'm going to glue that to the base of the window now, and that will sit and really show off that very cool glass feature there. And then I used some green sea glass here to make a bit of a structure. And it has this piece at the top. I wanted to kind of show off this up piece. It's from a 7-Up bottle, so then the up is still very clearly seen. So just to make that stand out, I'm going to put that at the base of the window as well. So keeping with my fanciful theme, I got playing around with all of these pieces and I decided to create 3 fanciful fish houses, because something that you often see near the seashore are fish houses, which are houses where the fishermen keep all their gear and their stuff that they need for their fishing. So what I decided to do with this piece of white pottery, I didn't think I was going to be able to use it, and then I thought, oh, maybe it would make kind of like a fish house. So I glued a white piece for the door. This was kind of a cool white piece with some indentations in it. Another window here, and just that yellow piece because it kind of features it well. And then I used the blue, I used that piece of pottery and a couple of other blues to build this house. And then this house I'm building on top of one another. So I've got a base, a really cool blue piece, a door, a little window, a couple of pieces for the top. And then I used that gray piece for the third house. A cool piece of pottery for the door, a blue window, a couple of other pieces here, that yellow piece. I think just by putting them there, it gives something kind of interesting to look at, and it draws you in to look at all the different special pieces of sea glass. And then what I'll be doing is I'll be filling in the base of this with brown, which represents the beach. And then I'm going to have a sandbar coming out here. And at the end of the sandbar, there's going to be, I wanted to make a lighthouse. And by making this lighthouse fairly small, especially in relation to the larger fish houses in the foreground, it really helps to create quite a bit of distance between the base of the land and the bridge, which is quite far off out in the water. So I used these 2 pieces of green milk glass to create the lighthouse out at the end of the sandbar, and a really kind of cool piece of pottery that has some green on it for the top of the lighthouse. And that's just going to sit out there at the end of that sandbar. So what to do with the rest of the sea glass? I have this white piece that I'm going to put up here in the sky as the sun. This is going to be the sun, and then I'm going to make the sky all with a lot of white and aqua. So with the rest of the sea glass that I'm trying to incorporate here, I'm just going to place it up here for now. And then when it comes to creating the sky, I have this one mauve piece, quite a bit of aqua, and some white. So all of that is just going to get placed there. And then when it comes to doing the sky, I'll try to incorporate as much of this as I can. Probably not all of it, because I might find that it's not all going to work for me, especially some of the bigger pieces, because when I'm filling in, I often use smaller pieces. There's another piece of milk glass there. That might go okay in the sky. And then I'm going to put the green sea glass that I have left into the water, because I plan to fill in the green, or the water all with green. I have some very large greens that would go down near the shore. They might be too big. So here again, I might find myself saying, no, these don't work, they're too big. But then I've got all this other green that I can find a way to work into the water. I'm going to be filling this in with my sea glass. And then the same with the brown. I'll put all the brown down here near the base where it may or may not get used. I'll try to use as much of it as I can, but if I feel like a piece doesn't fit, I'll just set it aside. So there you have it. You can see how a lot of those pieces have been used in different ways, and it's kind of come together to make a mosaic. The magic of mosaic is happening again. And I've put a lot of the white and the aqua and some of the other colors up in the sky to use there. And I have hardly anything left on my board. I just have a few pieces left that I just think aren't going to find a place. But I found a place for the rest of them, and I think the rest will fit. The rest of the ones that I put in the sky here, I think are going to fit well into the sky. So join me for my next video, and I'll show you how to make a dynamic sky. And what I'm going to do is I'll show you a bunch of pictures of skies that I've made in the past, and then you can see how I put all these pieces together, plus add some more to fill it all in, because I really want to work hard on making quite a dynamic sky. So be sure to join me for that video. So until next time, when I show you how to make a dynamic sky, I hope you make it to the beach, and happy sea glass hunting.